Good morning to everyone, and this is a great pleasure for me to be able to connect with you all. This is the second FDP which is being conducted online, and normally we do it offline, but this is the time of Corona, so this is the second best option available to us. Though the effectiveness of such types of workshop which are quite reflective in nature, which basically built upon a kind of a dialogue between you and me. So we will bear with that and will try to do our best possible with the given circumstances. So today's topic is definiteness of human conduct, human goal, happiness, prosperity, and relationship, a human need. The flow of our discussion would be we'll talk about ground rules. We will have, I'll say something about myself just to introduce. It would be preferable if I can know something about you, or especially what has been already covered in 3 days. And then we will talk about definiteness of human conduct, what is human goal, and we'll talk about relationships. Ground rule is that be focused while we are, especially on such online platforms, we get distracted by many other activities, and we normally feel that we are quite smart enough and we can do multitasking. However, on such type of topics which are quite new, informative, which are challenging our old belief patterns, it is not very easy to do multitasking. So I would request that please be focused. Try to note down whatever is being said, because you know quite often it is easier while we take notes. That's what we tell our students also, that students should take notes most often when they just keep on listening to the faculty or teachers. The absorption is less. It certainly gets enhanced if we take notes. So second thing, please do ask questions, and you can always write the questions on your message box. You are all grown-ups. Some of you have much more knowledge than me on many various topics. So I would also be learning from you. So I would say please use this chat box to share your feelings, your questions, your feedback. It would be highly appreciated. Just a brief about myself. I am an IIT Delhi graduate. I did mechanical engineering in 1992. I worked in corporate for 25 years, so till 2017. Since then, I have taken BRS. I am a student of Madhyas Darshan, a coexistential philosophy on the basis of which we will be discussing. I'm still a student, I would say, so learning, trying to apply these concepts in my day-to-day living, in my family, in my relationships. And as you might be knowing by now, Madhyas Darshan is propounded by Sri A. Nagaraj, who was basically a person from Karnataka, but he did most of his, you know, sort of research work in Amarkantaka, I would say. I have taken various workshops so far in NIT Surat, MNIT Jaipur, PIT Udaipur, SCT Surat. I have conducted few faculty development program for UGC, because UGC has also decided once AICTE decided that they should have some kind of a student induction program. So I took their workshop for regional workshop in Guwahati, Calcutta, and Pune. I have been involved in value education program in Delhi. You might be aware about the happiness curriculum, which is what Delhi government did. And I have been a facilitator for value education for AICTE and UGC. While we do such kind of offline workshop, we also follow it up with a kind of a group photograph. So this is one of them at NIT Surat. Here probably we will have a virtual photograph nowadays. All participants on one screen sort of. I don't know how easy it is to do this on this online platform, where if it is possible, Yogesh bhai, I would like 2 or 3 participants to be very brief, maybe for 1 or 2 minutes, and also tell me that what has been covered. So a brief summary. Will that be possible, Yogesh bhai?
I think that seems quite difficult.
Difficult. So
They can write under Q&A only.
very good. So I would request people if they can write in message box. That's what I had written. If they can write in their message box, or we can move forward.
Till yesterday, we have covered activities of self.
Okay, very good. Now, this is one question which I would like you write down on your own pen and paper on your pad or in your mind. That what is it that you are looking for in life? Whether you want to become a rich man, to have a lot of money, to have respect, which means your name should be known, so sort of fame, or to have a good position in institute, to be a good teacher, to change the lives of your students in positive ways. So this is for your own self reflection. What is it that you are looking for in life? Coming to definiteness of human conduct, who will define the conduct of a human being? This is a pretty important question, that how can I define what should be the human conduct, especially for others, like, for you, if I have to tell you that what should be your conduct, it becomes not very easy proposal, you know. Then another question comes, is there a right conduct or a wrong conduct? Can we have a conduct which is, we can say, no, this is not the right conduct, or this is a wrong conduct? Or going more fundamentally into the question, what is right and wrong? Isn't it only a matter of perception? Is there a reality where we can say, no, there are certain things right, certain things wrong? So these are some of the questions which are very important, because the role of education is that a person, the educated person, comes to know or can distinguish between what is right and what is wrong. Most often when I talk to an elite group, a group of people like you, especially, most of the people say, sir, no, it is just a matter of perception. There's nothing right, nothing wrong. This is a pretty prevalent kind of a worldview as of now. However, I want to challenge this. I am saying that there exists right and wrong. There are two domains. Okay, one domain where your right may be different than my right, and that domain relates to the bodily domain. You may like ice cream, I may like, sweet, someone may like something different. So there could be different choices when it comes to senses or related to sensual, preferences. there are differences, and there you cannot really define right and wrong because there is no universality in it. For some people, certain kind of food can be problematic. For others, they may enjoy it and it doesn't create a problem to them. So as far as the bodily domain is concerned, but for human being, there is another domain where there is a universality exists, where there is a this right is also my right, and there is no difference. For example, everyone wants respect, everyone wants to be trusted. There is no dichotomy around this, that no, I want disrespect, I want people to hate me, I don't want affection. So there is a two domains, in the existence. One domain which is changes person to person. There is another domain which remains permanent, which is universal, which is changeless, which does not change with time. This was true that people wanted to get respected. This was true since time immemorial. So there's a domain which does not change with time, which does not change with people, which does not change with location. So whether you are in US, you ask a US citizen or a German citizen. So one part of a reality is unchangeable, and that part is what we call truth. Something that does not change with time, with place, with person. Okay. So when I am talking of definiteness of human conduct, I am talking of that domain. So I am not talking of a domain that a human conduct here does not mean that human beings should get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, should sleep at 10 o'clock in the evening, should have 3 meals, 2 times tea. No, this is not what I'm talking. This is not conduct. I'm talking of a universal part of that conduct. And that part is that every human being should be in harmony within himself. They should be in harmony with their near and dear ones. They should be in harmony with the nature and with the society at large. Now, this domain is the domain which does not change with time. So we will cover more about this when I am talking of human domain. Another part which is quite important, and I am not very sure whether this has been already covered, is what are human needs? Because we quite often hear, that needs are something which are unlimited, which are uncountable. And certainly resources are countable on the planet. So Yogesh bhai, is the need has been, I am sure this must have been covered.
Yes.
Very good. So I'll just do a recap. Okay. So you have already gone through this part of the presentation, that needs are certainly definitive and they are not unlimited. There are two types of needs in brief. One type of needs are physical needs and another type of needs are psychological needs. And certainly psychological needs are something which is not quantitative, these are qualitative. And when we try to fulfill these with the material world, that's where the confusion comes. And that's why many people have shifting goals. So you achieve something in the physical domain, in the material domain, you achieve a good position, you become director, you become professor, you become owner of an institute. And after acquiring that, after a few months, a few days, you start feeling, no, I need something more. And that's what we call shifting goals. So you were trying to achieve a goal from say last 3 years, 5 years, and somehow you get it. Quite often people don't even get the goals which they are looking for. There are a few fortunate ones, those who get it. If they wanted to become director, they do become. They wanted to become professor, they do become that. They wanted their son to go to America or to become engineer, and that does happen. But then their goal changes. And why does it happen? Because the material domain part does not give permanence of happiness. And since we are seeking permanence of happiness, which comes through psychological meeting our needs, and that's why when we try to fulfill our psychological needs with the material needs, with position, with money, and that does not last long, and then we start yearning for other goals, for the change of goals. So that's how that's why these needs, the practical application of these needs in our day-to-day life is that we must differentiate that if I am building a big house or I am buying a big car or a sedan or a sports car, which need is I am trying to address. If I am trying to address my psychological need, that is the need of respect or recognition, that since I have bought a big car or a big house, people will recognize me, will respect me, then we are going for a going in a wrong direction, because that need is not going to be fulfilled. And once we realize and mistakenly we think, oh, so our car has not been pretty good, I should have probably a higher version, and then we shift our goals and move from one goal to another goal. But yeah, there is a question: how much money, if you are given, you will become happy, and will not have issues in relationships. So I think this must have been discussed, and I would say you people should need to dive into more, to make it, because all this information we are giving, okay, many people come to us while we do such kind of workshops. Sir, this information I already know, and which is quite true. Many people know money cannot buy happiness. But having that information, we still change money, we still change positions. Okay. Why it is so? Because we, by mistake, in today's world of information, we mistakenly consider information as knowledge. However, information is not knowledge. Information is information. For it to become knowledge, information has to pass through 2 3 gates, and one of the gate is logic gate. Okay, and these faculties are within us, within a human being. So the next gate is that if I have understood this distinction in the form of information, that there are two types of needs, then I have to apply my logic now. That is it true? And we have to do some kind of self introspection. We have to take some survey, talk to our near and dear ones, take their opinion to finalize whether, only I am having this belief, or this is something which is, as I said, the truth is does not depend on human beings, on time frame. So you talk to different people and then you come to know. And when you apply it, so the third gate is it really worthwhile living this kind with this kind of logic or belief? And once you apply it in life, and then if you get results, then is, I call it that it gets converted into knowledge. So information is not sufficient for living. Even logic is not sufficient for living. Quite often many people say or know logically that they should not get angry, but they do get angry. Knowingly, or knowingly, when I say knowingly means knowingly, logically knowingly quite well. But it doesn't work, that logic doesn't work there. So we have to go beyond logic. Okay, so all the truths are logical, but their applications are beyond logic. We have to do some kind of, live with it to be able to realize that. Similar case is with the need. So when we know it, that respect cannot be bought by money, this is a negative statement. How does then respect comes? And respect comes by our conduct and by our behavior. So let me give you here one exercise, and I'll give you 2 minutes for that. And the exercise is, everyone has to note down 2 names of people to whom they respect. So the exercise is, every one of you has to note down two names of people to whom you respect. And the condition is these people should not be from your own family, because quite often you may be respecting your father, mother, aunt, which is good. But then for this exercise purpose, the exercise is that you write down the name which is not from your family. And second caveat is the people's name which you are writing should not be the people, those whom you have not met, like Gandhi or like Martin Luther King or like Nelson Mandela. You might be respecting these people, certainly. But for this exercise, I want you to write those two names with whom you have met. So I'll give you 30 seconds to write down two names to whom you respect, which are not from your family and with whom you have met some point of time in your life. Yogesh bhai, this exercise has not happened. Good. So I think you must have written by now. Now, since here I can't see your faces, and it's very difficult to find out what is going on in your at least I can't even do the face reading here. Quite often it becomes easier to while I see faces, it is easier for me to relate. So what you would have noticed while doing this exercise, that the names which you have written are none of them, or I would say, I mean, I have done this exercise for at least thousands of participants so far, and I can say that you don't respect them because they have a lot of money, because their bank balance is fat. It does not mean that they are poor people. They might be having a lot of money, but your respect is not coming because they have a lot of money. So without asking, I can see, I can make a few observations about the names which you have written. Second observation, you don't respect them because they have got a big house in a posh locality. By the way, they might be having a good house in posh locality, but that is not the cause for your respect. Third observation, you don't respect them because they are very beautiful or handsome. They might be beautiful or handsome, but that is not the reason for your respect. Fourth observation, you don't respect them because they have got a big car, an expensive model of a car. Now, why I'm saying this? Because when I talk to many people, they say, sir, you are right. I don't respect because I am not a fool. Why should I respect a people just because he has got a lot of money, a big car, a big house, or in a big position? I know I don't respect such things. But surprisingly, if most of us keep this notion or have this notion that my respect will be ensured once I will be in a good position, I will have a lot of money, I will have a house in a good locality, I will have a big car. So quite often we don't examine our own belief patterns, and we feel that these are the things which are required in life to get respect. However, when we do a self-examination, we talk to our own near and dear ones, we come to realize that these are not the things which are worthy of respect. Then another observation which I get quite often in such workshop, most of the people, at least 70% of the people, write the name of their teachers. And why we respect them? Because they have touched your life in positive ways, and that is the reason for your respect. And the good thing is that you all are teachers already. You are in that position where you can touch the life of many in positive ways. So if we all, since we all wants to be respected, the only way to attain that is to touch lives of people in positive manner. That is what is required. Why I correlated with the needs? Because quite often to acquire recognition, we are trying to change physical needs, which are time consuming, which are energy consuming, which put a lot of effort on our side, and then we realize later stage that that's not what guaranteed my recognition. So this is now this will have a lot of impact on our conduct, because if this clarity happens in us, then our conduct will change. We will start interacting with our students in different ways. We will start connecting with them in many more ways than just on our subject matter. We will start trying to find out how is their family, how whether everything is going fine. If some of the students suddenly, you know we notice that their grades are falling down, the guy is not putting attention, we also try to look at the background issues around it, whether everything is going fine in their families. There are certain issues with the kid, and if you touch their lives, then you would be surprised the kind of respect you command, not that you demand, but you start commanding it. Another observation regarding the list which we have, the two names which we have just written, if I have to ask a very hypothetical question, that you are doing some activity which you feel is not a good activity, like maybe smoking or having an altercation, an argument with someone, and you suddenly notice that one of these person to whom you respect is coming towards you, what will you do? Quite often people say that out of respect, I will stop altercation. I will stop arguing. If I am smoking, I'll throw that cigarette, or hide it. Why it is happening? It's a matter of respect you are showing to that person. And it is involuntary, it happens voluntarily. You need not make extra effort. So when as a teacher, we say that today's generation is not respecting me, I would say, please look back, see whether you have touched their life in some positive ways. Then it is not possible that they will not respect you. You will command respect. Respect is by default. It's a recognition, it's a gratitude towards the people, those who have supported them in the time of need. And that's what is your conduct. That's how it is linked. All these topics are quite linked with each other. So we all know that money cannot buy happiness, but the important part is not this. Important part is what is it that buys happiness, or what is it that guarantees happiness. And this must have been discussed that there are three sources of happiness. Okay, one is the material things, then another part of happiness is relationship, and the third part of happiness is the knowledge. And the more important part of it is knowledge, because that only let us know how to live in relationships and how much money I need for fulfilling my physical needs. So if I remember correctly, Yogesh bhai, after 30 minutes we are supposed to take some break and interact with, is that working, that mechanism, where I can get some feedback?
You can ask under Q&A. You might be able to see Q&A.
Okay, so where can I see that?
There is option in right side for
Just a
Q and
minute.
A. Question mark symbol is there.
Just a minute. Let me see.
There are few things, Q and A, new, published, dismissed, something like this.
I am only seeing the chat box, and I am seeing live. Yours like
Okay,
DK is written.
okay.
Just a minute. Let me see.
एक मिनट मैं मुझे एक मिनट दीजिए, मैं अभी बता रहा
Ah, please. Or if you can read out some Q&A are there.
हूँ. Yeah, till that time I will read out few Q and A. Uh, okay. Uh, just a minute. एक क्वेश्चन है, कोई मेरे नाम से ही पूछा है. There is one question. The person name is Yogesh itself. Do the aim of USB FTP is to make the participants to stop being materialistic or to convince them for retirement from physical world and to become a monk?
Very good question. And I would say we are not prescriptive here. So why should someone advise others for what he is supposed to be doing? Because human beings normally does not want to get controlled by others, or they don't want others to be advising them unless they themselves wants an advice. So we are not prescribing anything here. What is being said in universal human values, the word itself means universal, which means it is for all. And what we are making, and we are rather giving a proposal which you yourself needs to verify. And the proposal is that whatever we are doing, we are trying to maximize our happiness. So we want to be happy. And when I say happiness, happiness includes peace of mind, contentment, and bliss. So when I say happiness in Hindi, Sukh, Shanti, Santosh, and Anand. So this is a happiness is a here we are using it in a broad brush approach. So happiness means that. So now it is up to you to decide that what is the it that will guarantee you what you are seeking, whether to become monk, whether to take early retirement, whether to pursue maybe more money, maybe make come out to be an answer for you to make more money, to get famous, to influence people, to be a motivator, to become owner of multiple institutes, or to become owner of a factory. So it's not being prescriptive here, and in fact it will be different for different people. As I said, there are two aspects. Do's and don'ts will be different, but the psychological aspect, whatever you do or whatever I do, we are we want to be happy and peaceful and contented. So that part will remain universal, not the activity part will remain universal. So certainly, I mean, to be very precise, Yogesh Bhai, the answer is
Yeah.
that we are, like to the other Yogesh Bhai who has asked the question, that we are not prescribing anything, what, and we certainly don't want people to become monk, because what we are saying is physical prosperity. To fulfill our relationships, you need physical things. Like if you have to send your kid to school or college, you need money, you need resources, you need house. So we are in fact, we are not saying you need to become monk, by the way, but you need to fulfill these things in a manner where you can hold your head high, where you feel proud that I have fulfilled my physical needs, as well as I have fulfilled my psychological needs, and as well as I have been you know, a kind of a catalyst in touching people's life in positive ways. That's what we are saying.
Okay. There is one question. From question itself, it seems that a group of people is watching this FDP. Okay. So the question is from the father of friend of one audience. Okay. The question is it possible to define human conduct?
Oh, well, excellent. You have read one of my slide. If you, since I will be showing it, the same question I have asked, and the answer is yes. Answer is yes. We can define human conduct. So now the question is, how will you define? Because human goal is common. See, what is a conduct? Conduct is what is it that I do from morning till evening. One is the activity part. Second is what I think. Third is whatever I do and what I think, what is it that I want to achieve? So, what are my goals? So, there is a latent part and there is a visible part. They say a tip of the iceberg. A tip only is visible, a lot of part is latent. So, when you see the conduct part, whatever is visible is very tip. What is latent is the thought behind it, the belief behind it, the understanding behind it, the commitment behind it, you know, and the experiences behind it. These are all hidden part of the human being. And so, to be able to fulfill that goal of happiness, peacefulness, you know, whatever conduct which guarantees this is the human conduct. And so it can be defined not in do's and don'ts terms, but in the qualitative terms, like how to establish harmony within yourself, how to fulfill your relationships, how to live a meaningful life. That can be defined.
Okay. Uh, I'm searching few more questions.
Okay. But I
What
am
is
unable.
the role of money? Yes, yes. What is the role of money for happiness?
Money plays a very, very important role in life for happiness because human beings have got two aspects, physical needs as well as psychological needs. Physical needs come from money. Money is basically a symbol for, finally, it is not that money directly. We don't eat rupees or dollars. We eat, chapatis, vegetables. So in that sense, if you look at it, money is not directly a player. It is an indirect player. Okay. So indirectly, it plays a role in our fulfilling our physical needs. And comfort is very important in life. As I said, if you have to, you will not feel comfortable if your son is hungry, if your mother cannot get treated for want of resources, if you don't have a house and there is a rain, or so we need, so happy, but there are two parts of it, comfort and happiness. But if you see, just having a big house, just having a lot of money will bring happiness, then answer is again no. Excuse me for a minute, there's someone on the door. I'll just open the door and come back. हाँ बेटा बोला ना। मीटिंग में होकर वो पैसा हाँ दरवाजा दरवाजा। हाँ जी, so what I was saying is that money is very, very, very important. So when, as someone asked again whether we are asking people to become monk, no. So that's why there are two realities. Suppose I come to your house, and you only talk very good things. Ajay bhaiya, your lecture was great. You have inspired me. Blah blah blah. I mean, if that has really happened, but I am thirsty or I am hungry. These words will not going to quench my thirst or get away my satisfy my hunger. So for that I need water. I need food. So for human beings, both are equally important, I would say. But but if you only give me water and food and you say, you know, we don't relate to each other, then that is also not going to give me happiness. So for human beings, both are required. That's what I would say. Hello, Yogesh bhai,
Yes, yes. I will take one last question.
please.
Yes. Is happiness a measurable quantity?
Happiness is not a measurable quantity. It's a qualitative thing, but you can measure in different ways. For example, whether throughout the day, you know, do I remain happy 2 hours, or how frequently I get sad, or how frequently I get upset, with some circumstances or other. So it is not that you are measuring happiness like it is 10%, 20%, 50%. It's qualitative, but you can measure whether most of the time I am unhappy. Do I remain at peace with myself, or that peace gets disturbed by very small activity while you are on the road, and someone, suppose आप drive कर रहे हैं on the road, someone honks at the back of you, है ना, वो हॉर्न बजा रहा है कि अरे यार आप जगह दीजिए, and you may get irritated. Or are you a person that someone is honking, you realize, oh, this guy must be in a hurry, and you simply, give way to him, and your peace of mind is not disturbed. So happiness per se is qualitative, but you can find out that how often you get disturbed, how easily you get disturbed, or whether that equanimity or your state of mind remains most of the time, or it has become a part of your being, which means you are now permanently remain in the state of happiness, and people love to be in your company. They like to be in your company, and they get motivated while they are with you. So that way you can judge yourself. So I think good. So we will have again after another 20 minutes break and look at those questions. So ठीक है योगेश भाई. So we'll move forward.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Please
Excellent. I
continue.
think that the kind of questions shows the kind of depth you people are listening, and also as Yogesh bhai said that someone's relative asked or father asked the query, which means that you guys are also sharing, these kind of whatever you are taking from this workshop, you are also talking it around with your family members and friends. Badhiya. So money cannot buy happiness, but at this right question, right time was put up. Money is very important for happiness. So true. Then there is another distinction, but I think this has already been discussed, poor, rich, and prosperous. Correct, Yogesh bhai, this has already been discussed, as if I,
Yes.
what I understand
Yeah.
from Shiva. Yeah, good. So if there would be any queries, then I'll take those queries, otherwise I'll move forward. There's another question, which especially with the faculty members, those who are in colleges, engineering colleges, or BA, BSc students, or the college students, this boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. There are a lot of issues with this. Some people say that the relationships are made in heaven, and quite in American terms, there's a joke which keeps on going around that relationships are made in heaven, And on earth, we try to find out who is really made for me. And it takes few trials, 4 to 5 trials. And then you realize whether you are the one, you are trying to find out your soulmate. So you come across a few people and then you come to know about it. Another, however, in India, normally these, relationships have been so far by and large quite stable at the face of it. When I say at the face of it means that at least they are not taking divorces. They may not be the best kind of relationships. They may have their own, arguments. They may have their own times while they don't agree with each other. And probably we need to have a better relationship. That's why we are discussing around this. Then there comes this family values issue. Is the values, are this family values a Indian concept, or it is a concept which is universal? Or why only human beings have this, institution of marriage? Because we don't see this in animal, we don't see in plants. So why only human beings have this institution of marriage? This is also sometimes, especially when I talk to MBA students, they do. So nowadays, many students question this. And this also brings us to a very important question of human beings versus animal beings. That, how are we different? But I'm sure this probably must have been covered, that human beings are, at a higher pedestal as far as the evolution is concerned than animal beings. We are more superior, we are more evolved than animals, than plants, than material world. So I think this four world order, must have been discussed. And why we are saying that we are more evolved? Because we inherit all the characteristics which are found in these three orders, and we have certain characteristics which are not found in these three orders, like thinking, like imagination power, like freedom to act. These are quite innate to human beings. However, the way we are conducting ourselves right now, it looks like human beings has entered on this planet like a villain. We are destroying material world, trees, flora and fauna, creating pollution, you know, having lot of war. So though we are more evolved species, but we have yet to manifest or behave with that higher potential. And that is the meaning of evolution in human beings. So we are more evolved, but the evolution, someone who is, suppose for example, you consider someone to be a more evolved person than you. Maybe in your institute you found someone to be better off. What do you think should be the expression of a evolved person? Should it be exploitation of those who are less evolved, or should it be nurturing those who are less evolved? Let me repeat my question. If you come across a person to whom you revere, or to whom you consider a evolved person, or someone who is a great human being, how do you think his greatness should be manifested? His greatness should be manifested in exploiting those who are not as evolved than him, or it should be manifested in the nurturing of those who are not evolved. And when you ask this question, the normal simple answer comes yes. The most evolved manifestation is to be able to nurture those who are not yet that evolved. So human beings are more evolved, but they are not nurturing right now. They are exploiting. Since they have the power of exploitation, it certainly gives an indication that they are more evolved. But their evolvedness conduct, they have to give the proof of it by nurturing the environment. nurturing the flora fauna, nurturing the other human beings, and supporting them. And that's what we call harmony. So we have yet to live in harmony with other human beings, with themselves, and with the nature at large. Now, that's what I was saying. Someone asked this question, and I told you that I have already a slide for this. And the question was the same: is there a common goal for all human beings? Or everyone has their different goals? And my answer was, or is, there is a common goal. When we see different goals, we are talking of means of achieving that goal. So if you ask someone who is going on the road, and do that exercise, by the way, it's a good exercise. Call 5 of your friends or near and dear ones and ask them today in the lunch session, during the lunch break, or in the evening, that what is their goal. And let me give you some of the possible answers. Suppose you call your friend and ask him, what is your goal? Or you call your uncle and ask him, what is your goal? And maybe his answer would be, some of the few possible answers would be, I want my son to get job, or I want my son to get married, or I want that we should be able to buy this house, or I want to get promoted, or I want to get some of the wishes come true. So that will be the normal answers. Then you ask, why do you want your son to get married, or why do you want to own that house, or why do you want to get promoted? And then the second or third, when you ask few such whys, why, and then he will say, because this will give me happiness, because this will give me peace of mind. If my son is settled, if my son gets married to a good girl, or if he gets a job, this will make me, give me peace of mind. This will give me satisfaction. This will give me happiness. So if you go, that's where I'm talking of commonness, commonality. So if you go, while how he wants to achieve it, by buying a house, having a job, getting promoted. So the means are different, but not the goal. We sometimes fail to see this distinction between means and the end. So goal is common. So when I say that is there a common goal for all human beings, my answer is yes. And the goal is, we will come further those slides, that the goal is to have harmony within ourselves, harmony with our own family members, with our kids, with our husband and wife, with our parents, with our friends, and with society at large. So that's what is the goal, to establish harmony, to have harmony within and without. When I say harmony in the family, obvious question comes, relationships. So what is the problem in relationship? Why we, and let me ask this question, how many of you feel that expectation is the main problem in relationship? Because this, we keep on hearing, this is a very common theme, which we keep on hearing in our society, that we should not expect anything in relationships. And it is the expectation which is the root cause of problem in relationship. However, I am putting you a different proposal. I am saying expectation is not a problem in relationship. In fact, expectation is the second name of relationship. If you don't expect, there is no relationship. So expectation is relationship in a different terms. Like You have a relationship with your son because you expect something from him. He has a relationship with you as a father or mother because he expects certain things. You don't have that kind of relationship with your neighbor. Or with someone who is driving an auto on the road. Why? Because you don't have expectations, or you have very minimal expectation. With an auto wala also you have an expectation that while you are on the road, he will not come and hit you or make an accident. So he will be following those rules. So what I'm saying, expectation is not the problem. Then what is the problem in relationship? Two problems are there in the relationship. One, we fail to understand what is right expectation and what is wrong expectation. And second, we don't know how to fulfill these expectations. So it is not the expectation which is a problem. It is not knowing what is the right expectation and what is the wrong expectation. And second thing, not knowing how to fulfill these expectations. So the root of many people say, this is the, we keep on doing this questions. In fact, the earlier platform which we were using, there was poll where we could ask those questions. So, but here we are not in that we can have really a very viable interaction. But Yogesh Bhai is fulfilling that gap by reading out some of the questions from you. Now, so what I was saying is, in fact, there is no relationship without expectations. Just look at the situation. You know, a small kid is born in the family and he starts crying for food, for milk. And mother says, no, beta, don't expect that I will feed you. Is it going to work? Is he having a wrong expectation? Expectation is right. So it's not a matter of not having, or if the parents become old and then they expect that their young ones should take care of them. Is it a wrong expectation? No, it's the right expectation. We may find it difficult how to fulfill that due to our own limitations, due to our nature of job, due to the kind of harmony we have with our husband and wife, with the kind of house we have got. So there could be many issues that we may not be able to fulfill that expectation, and that may be a problem. But expectation itself is not a problem. Our inability to fulfill that, हम उसके योग्य नहीं है उसको fulfill करने की. That is the problem. Now the question comes: is it possible to fulfill expectation in the relationship? This is a very common question which is asked by many participants. भैया आप ये कह रहे हैं कि रिलेशनशिप में एक्सपेक्टेशन होनी चाहिए और हम उनको फुलफिल कर सकें. तो इज इट पॉसिबल? क्या हम सारी एक्सपेक्टेशंस को पूरा कर सकते हैं? एंड द आंसर इज यस. देयर आर टू आंसर्स हियर. वन इज, it is possible to find out what are the expectations, right expectations in the relationship, and it is also possible to fulfill those expectations, because the next question itself is, what are the expectations in the relationship? So there are two types of expectations in any relationship. One type of expectation is related to the material needs. You know, your kid needs that you would fulfill his dream of studying into some college, or you will take care of his requirement of food, or requirement of a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler or a mobile phone. So one part in expectation in the relationship is related to monetary part. Another part which is related to the fulfilling the psychological needs of the relative, which means you will behave with them with respect, with gratitude, with trust, with reverence if they are elders. So that is, these are two, again, it is again coming back to the, if we go back to the needs, this is the same manifestation of those needs, material need as well as psychological needs. And so again, to the answer that whether we are saying that people should become monk, answer is no, because we are saying in in a position to be fulfill our relationship, we need both. We need material things as well as we need psychological needs to be fulfilled. So there are two types of expectations. Now, some people, what is, if you look at, if we have to prioritize between the two, or if you look around, and rather, if I have to ask you a question, that with your wife, with your husband, with your kids, with your brother and sisters, with your parents, what is it that you are seeking, or what is your complaint? Is it that they have not given you gift? Is it that they have not given you money? Or is it that they have not shown respect towards you? They have not shown the gratitude which you deserved. They have not shown the trust which you deserved. What is the main problem? Or what is the defining problem between the two? Is it the lack of resources or money? Or is it the lack of fulfillment of psychological needs in the relationship which is creating the trouble? So I think again we have covered another half an hour. So we'll again have a short Q&A session to bring that monotony. So if you have any questions, please do post it on Q&A, and I would again sort of request Yogesh Bhai to read it out for me. Somehow I have to get still familiar where I could have been able to read out myself. That would have been much better. Yogesh Bhaiya,
Okay, no issue. I will help you.
please.
Happiness is different for different class of people. So how can we standardize it?
Very good question. So at the face of it, it looks different for different class of people. Again, when we are focusing on means, for example, for a labor class, you may find that, if he gets a cycle, he feels happy. For a middle class person, you feel when he gets a scooter or when he gets a two-wheeler, he feels happy. For a upper middle class, if he gets not just Maruti Alto, but if he gets a Honda City, for example, you may feel that he felt happy. Or with another class, which is the ultra rich class, for example, you know, and if he gets a Mercedes or he owns a chopper or helicopter. So in this example, when you you know, look at the physical part of it, you feel that, someone getting a cycle feeling happy, someone getting a two-wheeler feeling happy, someone getting a car itself is good enough, someone has to need a branded car, someone has to needed to get a chopper. But if you look at the second part of it, the non-physical part, then what they have got, they they felt that their status or they will govern respect, or the two parts. Someone needs cycle or two-wheeler or car because comfort or the ease to reach to their workplace, to take their family from one place to another. So if you look at that part, that is common. Okay. Now another part where people are trying to get a status with a big house or a big car, again everyone is looking for a status there, so that there's a commonality. Okay, so seeking respect is common here, getting recognized in the society is common, whether you get recognized by having a car or by cycle or whatever. So the basic need is of getting recognition. However, in all these cases, that recognition is short lived, whether you buy a chopper or Mercedes or car or big house or cycle. So that recognition, as I said, is going to come by touching people's life in positive way. So that part, if you look at, will be universal. So make it a habit. Whenever you see seemingly differences, try to find out what is universal in it, and you will be able to get the answers yourself. ठीक है योगेश भाई?
Yes, yes. Okay. One more question.
Please.
Money is main factor to break relationship, isn't it?
And can you repeat again?
Money is main factor to break relationship, isn't it?
Well, so again, what is happening is when someone who is writing this, he is looking at one segment of people, because there is a segment of people where relationship is broken because of the lack of money, and there is a segment of people where relationship is broken because of the excess of money. Now, so you have asked the second domain question, like you see, in the media nowadays, that people having lot of money, they are indulging in drugs, and the relationship goes for a toss. Okay, they indulge in extramarital relationship, and relationship goes for a toss. So you are focusing in that domain, but actually, if you look at again, the universal part here is that people don't know how to fulfill their psychological needs. So when lot of money comes, they start wasting it in drugs, in extramarital relationships, in putting their time into gadgets, and not putting their time into relationships, because that domain they don't know. They don't know if I have time, especially in Corona times. I normally ask the people this question, that during this Corona times, while husband and wife or the whole family is at home for say 3 months, 6 months time now, and they all were complaining so far with each other that you don't give time to me. And while you are having now enough time, and then few days it looks good, and then the problems start, because so the problem are starting because you are having most of the time you are at home. So the issue is not giving time or not having time. Issue is we don't know how to relate with each other. So the issue is again is not having enough money or less money. Issue is we don't know how to live in relationship. So at the face of it may look like that money has been the sole cause of breaking the relationship, or the lack of money has been the cause of breaking the relationship. But in reality, it is the lack of understanding how to manage the relationship is the cause which is breaking the relationship. And that's why knowledge or understanding of these values, or how to live with values, is so paramount that even if you have a lot of money, you have power, you have position. I know a lot of IAS officers, lot of ministers, those who don't get well with their own parents, with their wives, their husband, with their kids. So it's not, so the having lot of money is not a vice in itself. It's not a problem in itself. Not having enough money is also not a problem in itself. Problem is that we don't know how I should be conducting my behavior with another human being. And that is something which is out of syllabus in our courses. And that is what precisely universal human values is trying to fill that gap, that we should recognize that we should be able to learn through our school or college education how to live in relationships, how to be a good father, how to be a good husband, how to be a good son, how to be a good daughter, how to be a good citizen, how to be a good, a person of a being a part on this planet, how to behave with nature. So this is what precisely this course is trying to address. If you have any other question, which is if you feel yoga is very important, then we can take that or we move forward. But very
Okay,
good, very
let me
interesting. Yes, you were saying something, Yogesh bhai.
Okay, okay. What all expectations fulfill our relationship?
Good. So in our relationship, as I said, there are two expectations. One is of material things and another is of psychological. We will cover this, that in psychological it is trust, it is respect, it is gratitude, it is affection, it is love. These are the things which are required in relationship. And the second part is to fulfill the material needs. Material needs means to be able to protect the body, to give nutritious food, to have a good shelter which can protect you from rain, you know, from heat. So these are the two domains. And very important part is that material is always secondary in this, always. For example, आप लोगों से भी मैं सवाल पूछूं, आपके बच्चों ने क्या आपसे कभी मर्सिडीज की डिमांड की? जबकि उन्हीं बच्चों ने की होगी जिनको पता है कि उनके पेरेंट्स उस डिमांड को मीट कर सकते हैं. सो और आपकी पत्नी ने कभी आपसे, है ना, 3 करोड़ की हीरे का हार मांगा? नहीं मांगा, उसने 5 लाख वाला मांगा हो सकता है. सो व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, इन रिलेशनशिप only that kind of material is demanded which they feel you can fulfill. है ना, अंबानी की पत्नी ने जरूर उससे चॉपर मांगा बिकॉज उसको लगता है ही कैन डू दैट, वो हेलीकॉप्टर गिफ्ट कर सकता है ना. उनके बेटे मर्सिडीज मांग सकते हैं क्योंकि उसको पता है उनके फादर कर सकते हैं. तो ये जब आप फादर और सन की रिलेशनशिप को देखेंगे तो इट इज सच ए ब्यूटीफुल रिलेशनशिप कि एक ऑटो वाले का बेटा उसके साथ फादर के साथ जो साइकोलॉजिकल नीड है वो सेम है, चाहे वो अंबानी के बेटे के साथ हो, मेरे बेटे के साथ हो, आपके बेटे के साथ हो. उसमें जो फिजिकल नीड्स की डिमांड है वो सरकमस्टेंसेज और आप कितना कर सकते हैं उसके अनुसार बदल जाती है. क्या डिजाइन है ना. इसीलिए सरफेसियली इट मे लुक डिफरेंट बट जो साइकोलॉजिकल नीड्स हैं यूनिवर्सल है. इसीलिए इस टॉपिक का नाम रखा है हमने यूनिवर्सल ह्यूमन वैल्यूज, एंड दे डोंट चेंज वेदर वो फादर और सन अमेरिकन हो, वेदर वो पाकिस्तानी हो, चाहे वो इंडियन हो, चाहे वो मुस्लिम हो, चाहे वो हिंदू हो. देयर इज ए यूनिवर्सैलिटी इन दोज वैल्यूज विच वी आर सीकिंग फ्रॉम ईच अदर. बढ़िया. ठीक है योगेश भाई.
Yes, yes. There is one question which is related to trust. I think that will be taken up by Shiva bhai.
Excellent.
So, okay, there is no such related question. We can move
Excellent.
forward.
So I'll move forward, and we have time till 11:30, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
10,
We still have
10, 12 minutes.
Yeah, we still have 10 minutes. Excellent. So coming back to, so we were discussing about relationship, and very nice questions participants are asking. So what are the expectations? So we already, good, you guys are thinking ahead. I must say that this is a sign of matured audience, and that's what is expected from such a august audience here. Whatever slides I have, and you people already have asked those questions. Excellent. So I gave you this exercise that please do write down how many of you expect money or material or gift in your expect. Because quite often हमको ये लगता है कि हमारे रिलेटिव्स ना हमसे पैसा चाहते हैं. एक्चुअली ऐसा है नहीं. रियलिटी में तो आप अपने से पूछिए आपको कितने लोगों से, कितने रिलेटिव से पैसा चाहिए, है ना. तो आप पाएंगे कि नहीं, आप तो बोलते नहीं भैया मुझे तो रिस्पेक्ट चाहिए, आई वांट हमसे अच्छे से बात करें, है ना, हंस के 2 बातें बोल लिया करें, हमारा रिस्पेक्ट कर लें, इतना ही हमें चाहिए. एक्चुअली यही उसको भी चाहिए, है ना. तो हस्बैंड वाइफ रिलेशनशिप में भी इट इज रिस्पेक्ट. मटेरियल तो चाहिए ही होता है, इट्स ए टोकन, इट्स ए मैनिफेस्टेशन ऑफ दैट रिस्पेक्ट इन द रिलेशनशिप. इट्स नॉट द प्राइम थिंग. इनफैक्ट जब हमारे को डाउट होता है कि आप हमें रिस्पेक्ट करते भी हो कि नहीं, तब हमारा फोकस मटेरियल पे ज़्यादा बढ़ जाता है. अदरवाइज तो हमको रिस्पेक्ट ही चाहिए, अफेक्शन ही चाहिए, ग्रेटिट्यूड। हमें अपने बच्चों में तो अब बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स से बात करता हूँ, उनसे मैं पूछता हूँ आपको अपने बच्चों से क्या चाहिए। बोलते हैं बस बच्चे ये बोलते हैं कि मम्मी पापा आपने हमारे जो लिए जो किया उसके प्रति हम आपके कृतज्ञ हैं। ये जो फीलिंग ऑफ ग्रेटिट्यूड वो देखना चाहते हैं, बिकॉज whatever they have done, they have tried, all parents do their best to meet out the demands of their kids, है ना। वो ऑटो वाला भी अपना बेस्ट ट्राई करता है ना, और वो अंबानी भी बेस्ट ट्राई करता है। तो सारे रिलेशनशिप में what we are looking for, the main factor is the psychological needs, and good thing is that उसके लिए हमें कुछ पैसे की जरूरत नहीं है, that is in abundance available to me to show respect, to show gratitude, to show trust. Another exercise which I quite often give to the participants, how many types of relationship exist, है ना। You can give your response on the messenger. Or another question which I also ask, is relationship unique to Indians or is it a universal phenomenon? And you will be surprised, because at the face of it sometimes it looks, being Indian we are too much possessed by this relationship issues. But everywhere when you do this exercise, that how many types of relationship exist, and you will find universality in that. That there are, everywhere you will find mother father, you will find husband wife, you will find friends, you will find kids, you will find brother sister relationship, you will find teacher student relationship, you will find relationship in the industry where someone is learning a skill from the other person who is already skilled, and in the form of internship, boss or subordinate. And you will find relationship like in your colleges, schools, offices, where to run some systems there are different roles which are divided amongst people. So someone acts as a director, someone as a professor, someone as a lecturer, and so to manage that system of education or production in a factory. So these are the 7 types of relationship which is universal. Okay, since we are not doing the exercise here, so I have told, I mean, just sort of spoken out. These are universal. Everywhere you have parents, you have kids, you have friends, you have brother, sister, you have office or industrial relationships. So these are the kind of relationships which are found everywhere. So it is not unique to Indians. Okay, it's a universal phenomenon. That's why we are saying, and the values sought in these relationships, whether between father and his son, parents and kids, it is universally you are looking for, from kids side you are looking for gratitude for the acts which you have done, and kids are looking for guidance from their parents and up to an age, and then they, that mode shift to teachers or society at large, and that is what how it is everywhere. So these, that's why, since these are universal, since these are known, these can be fulfilled. If you don't know what is expected, how will you fulfill? यदि हमें पता ही नहीं है कि मेरे से रिलेशनशिप में एक्सपेक्टेशन क्या है, तो फुलफिल कैसे करेंगे? The good news is that these expectations are universal and known in advance. And if you tell me the relationship, and you know what is expected in that relationship. Since you know what is expected, you can fulfill. You can acquire that ability to be able to fulfill. उसमें एक समय लगता है, because respect करना आसान नहीं है, trust करना आसान नहीं है. To have gratitude is not easy. To have affection for the other human beings is not easy. You have to, उसी को कह रहे हैं मानव में, ह्यूमन बींग्स में evolution. You have to evolve yourself to be able to respect, to be able to love, to be able to have gratitude. You know. Now, what is the role of a parent or a teacher? What is expected? Suppose we take one relationship. You are in that relationship, both. You are as a parent as well as a teacher. In institute you are a teacher. So what is expected from you? And vice versa. What do you expect from your students? And in the role of a teacher or a parent, what is it that you expect from your kids? So you please write it down, maybe take 30 seconds. Put yourself as a role of a parent first. As a parent, what do you want from your kids? Then second column, as a teacher, what do you want from students? And then as a parent, what do you want to give to your kids? And as a teacher, what is it that you want to give to your students? Or in different ways, what is it that they expect from you? And then comes the second question. These are the expectations. Okay, how can we deliver that? So to put it briefly, as a parent, okay, you expect gratitude, you expect trust from your students, and what you want to give them or what they expect that whatever in whichever domain you are talking to them, whether suppose skill domain, suppose you are a mechanical engineer, a faculty of mechanical or faculty of mathematics, faculty of physics, faculty of chemical engineering, or teaching some English, then they expect that you would be teaching something in which you have acquired mastery or which you are worthy of teaching. So they seek some kind of proficiency in you, in the domain you are teaching. Then they also expect that you would be kind to them. You would be teaching that with affection, not with arrogance. So these are the mutually fulfilling expectations. They are complementary expectations to each other. And there is no conflict. And that's why you can have a mutually enriching relationship. You can have symbiotic relationship with your kids. You can have symbiotic relationship with your students. Like in nature, all the three, material world, plant world, and animal world, they are in symbiotic relationship. There is no conflict there. Similarly, here also it is possible that you can have, because these are synergetic, mutually complementary expectations. In all relationship, it is like that. One, especially in student, parent, and child, one is a giver, another is the seeker. He wants to receive. And in receiving that, he is full of gratitude, which is what the giver wants. As a parent, you don't want money from your kids, but you want gratitude, a smile on their face that, yes, dad, you did it. Mom, you guided me the way I wanted so that I can live in this world in a way in harmony with others. That's what they are expecting. And what we are doing, we are simply passing on the gadgets. We are not in a position. So that way we are failing to fulfill our role as a teacher and parent. And then we see, that there is a frustration in that relationship. So it is not coming because of the lack of materials. It is coming because of the lack of my understanding and knowledge. So I think I will stop here, and we will talk about human conduct maybe in other session in detail. We have covered the basic part. If there's any feedback anyone wants to give, you can write in Messenger, or any one last question, one or two, Yogesh bhai can read out. So I really enjoyed. Yeah, please.
There is one question. In these days, students have very much illusion about relationship concepts.
Please read out again.
In these days, students have very much illusion about this relationship concept.
Yeah, that is true. They have lot of illusion because their teachers have illusion, their parents have illusion, and that's why they have illusion. Because their parents also are not very sure. We ourselves as a society, हम अभी आप ये सर्वे कर लीजिए, हम लोग अभी जो 30-40s में हैं और उनके पेरेंट्स जिनके 70s में हैं, कितने लोग ये बोलते जरूर है बच्चों को कि उनको अपने माता पिता की सेवा करनी चाहिए, हम एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि हमारे बच्चे सेवा करेंगे. आर वी डूइंग दैट? एंड इफ वी आर डूइंग इट, आर वी डूइंग इट आउट ऑफ सोशल कंपल्सन और वी आर डूइंग इट विथ फुल ऑफ ग्रेटिट्यूड, है ना? और केवल हमारे करने से नहीं होगा, हमारे समाज में कितने लोग ऐसा कर रहे हैं, बिकॉज बच्चे तो समाज से भी सीखते हैं. सो बच्चों का फेल्योर कम है मेरे अनुसार, हम बड़ों की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी ज़्यादा है और हमें थोड़ा डीप डाइव करना पड़ेगा इसमें, हाउ टू वाई these expected kids are missing that relationship issues. Probably we ourselves are missing or we have not been able to pass it on.
Okay, one last question I will take. How can we differentiate between right expectation and wrong expectation?
बहुत बढ़िया. आई थिंक इसी के लिए पूरा जो हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं, राइट एंड रॉन्ग को नॉर्मली जब डिफ्रेंशिएट करते हैं तो हम गोल्स से डिफ्रेंशिएट करते हैं. व्हाट इज इट दैट वी वांट टू अचीव, है ना? तो अदरवाइज राइट एंड रॉन्ग को इसीलिए हम आजकल कहते हैं देयर इज नथिंग राइट नथिंग रॉन्ग, बिकॉज यदि हमारा गोल इज टू मेक मनी, देन वेदर यू डू इट बाई चीटिंग, वेदर यू डू इट बाई ऑनेस्टी, इट डजेंट मैटर, बिकॉज ऑब्जेक्टिव इज दैट. तो यहाँ पर सारा ऑब्जेक्टिव है कि फाइनली ये जो मीन्स है मनी मेकिंग भी, ये हैप्पीनेस के लिए है, हार्मोनी के लिए है. सो राइट एंड रॉन्ग का पता लगता है वेदर आई हैव बीन एबल टू अचीव दैट हार्मोनी विद इन माई सेल्फ एंड इन रिलेशनशिप्स. सो इफ वी कीप द गोल, पहले हमें गोल को कंफर्म करना होगा, एंड थिंग्स विच अलाइन विद दैट गोल is what you come to know whether that is right or wrong. And good thing is that goals are universally defined, they are existentially defined, so इसमें कोई बहुत दिक्कत नहीं है, and it can be understood quite well.